All right, guys, I want to take a few minutes and review the information from today's class and talk a little bit about the review for Unit 2. So what I'm going to do is I've got 6 problems. I'm going to run through the 3 of them. I'm going to have you practice 3 of them each time just so that you get a chance to work on it. Then you're going to do your homework after this. You're going to work on the study guide. And then you can also work, if you're finished the review part 2, you can go ahead and work on your study guide that's due the day of the quiz. Okay, or day of the unit test next Friday. So let's get started. This unit covers 3 pieces, or 3 real things. Converting something from standard form to slope-intercept. Okay. Graphing numbers in slope-intercept. Okay. Okay, graphing y equals mx plus b. And then finally, converting, then graphing. So what we do here, and then finally that graph. So this has got 3 sections. Your homework has the same thing. It's got these same 3 sections. It's got solving things in slope-intercept. It's got converting. It's got graphing, just slope-intercept. Then it's got converting, then graphing in the same problem. So let's go ahead and kind of practice each one of those. So again, remember this is the directions. The directions also might say convert or graph by converting if that's the problem. But this one just says write slope-intercept form, and again, that's remembering that's y equals mx plus b of the equation in each line. So first things first, we got to know that since it's slope-intercept, I'm solving for y. That's really what I'm asking you to do. And we reviewed this as we talked about the quiz yesterday, that we would, when we reviewed the quizzes, the first thing we would do is we'd solve the problem by subtracting x from both sides, following our process for properties of equality. So for y is equal to negative x plus 16. Then the next thing we do, we've got to, since it's 4 times y, we use our division process and we divide everything. Now from here, this is the parts that we've got to remember. So relatively straightforward is 16 over 4, okay? Y is equal to something x, and then 16 over 4 is going to simply become a positive 4. But remember what's hidden in front of this x. That's the key. Okay, so if it's negative 1, it's going to be negative 1/4 x as my equation. I'm going to clean that up just a little bit so it looks neater. So it's going to end up equaling negative 1/4 x as my equation. So I want to have you just take a look at this. You're going to try the same thing on this one. So I want you to pause the video and take about a minute, 2 minutes, get this solved, and then we'll come back and I'll explain how to do it, just to double check our work. All right, so let's walk through it. So the first thing you would have done is subtract 4x from both sides. Now instead of having just y, you actually have a negative y equals negative 4x plus 6. So again, remembering that hidden negative 1, I don't want that, so I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. So that changes my equation to y equals 4x minus 6. And there's my final converted slope-intercept form. Okay? So that kind of runs you through that practice, and we'll have more practice on the conversion itself as we go down into the graphing section. So now we're on to graphing. I'm going to make my thing a little bit bigger. So again, since this is y equals mx plus b, there are general forms of this that we know. This is your slope. This is your change in y over your change in x. Okay, up or down and to the right. This is your y-intercept. Okay, since this is part of it, that means this is where it's going to cross the y-axis. Okay, and again, we've already so it's going to where it's going to cross that vertical axis, and we're just going to put a dot. So the first thing this tells me is that's at negative 3, so I'll put my dot there. That's our starting point. And then from here it says, okay, it's positive 1, so that means I'm going to go up 1 and to the right 5. So up 1 to the right 5 puts my first point here. And then because we can go backwards as well, we can actually now flip it completely and go down 1 to the left 5. That puts my last point right here. And again, I don't care if you draw a perfect straight line. I'm looking at the points really. Okay, and there's my equation. All right, so I'm going to ask you guys to try the same thing. Take a few moments and graph this one. Just draw a simple graph on your table. Do your best. Again, a 6x6 to look just like this would be great. Okay, so this one's going to be the same idea. There's my starting point at -5. Now my slope here says go down 3 to the right 5. Now I really can't do that. So I'm going to have to do that flip. So I can't do down 3 to the right 5 because the negative always goes up with that numerator. So because I can't do that, I'm going to flip it. I'm going to go up 3 to the left 5. Because I can't go up 3 to the left 5. That gives me my final point. I can't graph anything else on this line, so that's what this looks like. There we go. All right. And there's more of these to practice on your homework, on your review packet. All right, next thing, the last piece we're going to be doing today, the last part of a review is going to be working on this one. You're going to sketch this graph. So again, but we can't sketch this yet. I don't want you solving this. I want you to convert this to slope-intercept. Okay, and then graph. We'll practice more about graphing by intercepts on Tuesday or Monday when you come back. Okay, so first thing we have to do is set it up to solve. X plus 4y equals -4. We subtract x from both sides to get 4y equals -x minus 4. Divide by 4. And you see I write mine underneath everyone just so I remember to do it. So y is going to equal, again, that hidden -1, -1/4 x. This time 4 divided by 4 is -1. So there's my new starting point. That's b, just like in our previous section. And there's m, there's our slope. So we're going to start at -1 right here. We're going to go down 1 to the right 4. It's 1. Then we'll switch it up. Go up 1 to the left 4. Again, get your line through it. And there you go. There's your graph. Okay. So the next one, pause the video, and I want you guys to practice this one and try this one. It's a little bit larger problem, but it still works out the same way. Convert it, and then graph it. Okay, pause the video and give it a try. All right, so take a moment and rewrite the equation. So we subtract 4x again. Now we have -5y equals -4x plus 15. We're going to divide everything by -5. So I get y is equal, now I've got negative over negative, so that's going to make it +4/5 x minus 3. All right, so that starts my point over here at -3. Up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 5. I can't go down, can't go down 4, so I couldn't get my last point. It would be somewhere off the graph. So I would just stop here and say, okay, there's my graph. I've got my answer. Okay, so at this point, I want you to do two things. Let me just bring a blank page. So you've got a little bit to do for the rest of class. I'm going to have you go ahead and work on review part 2. It's got about 18 problems. Okay, so complete that first. And then if you're done with that, the sub also has your second page of your study guide that I, forgot to hit double-sided and copy for you. So she'll give those out and you can work on that. This one is due Monday/Tuesday, depending on your class period. And this one is due on Thursday, the day of the test, or the rest of your study guide. Remember, you don't have to do the word problems on the study guide. You can just take that piece of paper off and throw it away. All right, you have the remaining class to do it. If you finish early, I expect you to, if you finish both of these early, you're welcome to work on something for another teacher to study for any other test you got, if you're middle school physical science or English or U.S. history. If you're high schoolers, you've got your English final, you've got Bible, and you've got my class. You can always be working on it. Okay? All right. If you have any questions, send me an email, and I'll take a look at it and get back to you this weekend.